This is Signature TV, and we're on the last lap of this broadcast, and we have with us still in the studio Uche Gabriel, manager of Solid FM here, talking about today's World Radio Day as it relates to climate change. The theme, of course, this year is climate change and radio. So we're just talking about how presenters and radio stations could collaborate with agencies who could inform the presenters and to disseminate this information. Well, another question again is, we have a new president of the United States who has not spent 1 month in office, but he's out there canceling things. He's one of the persons who don't even believe in anything called climate change. And some of these fundings by, the agencies come from the United States. When you hear these things have been cancelled, and because of that, this information and dissemination cannot get to the radio station via its presenters. Don't you think that's a setback for dissemination information regarding climate change?
It is a setback, but I think it's going to be a temporary one. He's not properly guided, with all due respect. Yeah, probably there are things he's trying to clean up. But California just witnessed a fire. That's a typical example of climate change in action. So it will be temporary because eventually he's going to back down and he's going to be involved. If he decides that America is not going to fund awareness programs surrounding climate change, it's cool and fine. Other nations will do that. It might slow down the progress, but I mean, climate change is not something you want to convince anybody to believe. Probably it will happen in such a way that he now starts understanding the reality of what is on ground. Cities are wiped out. Complete cities are wiped out. Crazy things are happening that didn't used to happen. Right now, you can't even predict when the rains come. And it's all because of what is going on. And someone sits somewhere and says, I don't believe in climate change. It's just like saying, I don't believe in myself. What we do to the environment comes back at us. And it's simple, it's scientific, it's basic logic. What you give the environment comes back to haunt you. So if you say you don't believe it, it doesn't make it untrue. It simply makes it devastating because it will keep taking lives. It will keep. Right now, recently there were warnings that certain part of the country will have early rain. Yeah. Some will have delayed rain. Yeah. Now, sometimes when we hear that, we don't know what it means.
How does it impact you as a person?
Until it starts happening. Exactly, yeah. And then maybe in Ayamelo or those coastal areas around us, we begin to see over flooding. And then you're like, what's going on? You were warned. Repeatedly, people are warned, but they just can't make any sense out of. And that's why I think that these agencies should continue to hammer these things and probably bring it down to the layman's language where you understand how what you're doing contributes to what you and then add that to the impact of maybe open defecation. And then it begins to suggest that we must take care of the environment if we want to stay alive. Absolutely. Sometimes there's an outbreak of diseases and you don't even know where they're coming from. So Trump has shown that you could be at the highest point in the leadership of the world and not even understand basic issues as climate change.
So as it stands right now, especially as it concerns the African continents and radio, do you think there are some resources available for people to use to teach people how climate change works? Are there enough resources? Can we point out to certain places we can go to get information? NIMET, of course, we can hear warnings and hear now and then, but again, NIMET doesn't go further to explain how it impacts the common man, how it impacts the farmer, and why this is happening this way. It just says there'll be this way, there'll be this way. So, alluding to the point you made earlier, there are no, information, and even when information is there, it's just limited. Nobody tells you so much. Do you think Africa is tapping into it, and how do you think radio can help in exposing the importance of the knowledge of climate change to the people of the African continent?
On a general note, we don't have enough information. We don't have enough resources. And it doesn't also appear that we are even determined to do the right thing. Most times for some of these agencies, it's just about the funding. Okay, but you also ask, what have you been able to do on your own, okay, to attract these resources? Like I also said, radio has also not done enough. Okay, probably because of the death of knowledge. We don't have a lot of knowledge when it comes to this. Our education system haven't also helped because when we did a bit of geography, probably the emphasis was not as serious as it is right now. So there's a whole lot that can be done. Whatever avenue we decide to use is up to us, but we could cascade it to using town unions, using women, using the churches, but they have to understand it. And so it goes back to the will. Do we really want to do this? Do we understand how we are destroying our environment? Do we do that? We love to go to certain places because of the green area, the way it looks. And of course, it has also been proved that these green areas have a way of contributing to the oxygen, and then what we inhale and what we exhale. So, but are we really ready? Because I think basically, before you even start talking about money, you have to talk about understanding what the issues are, and then wanting to save the people before you start talking about money. State governments can do a whole lot if they are serious about it. So I think that before we talk about money and resources, it should be about our passion. Do we want to disseminate this information using the already laid channels that are available to us?
Right. In this day and age, you would see radio stations create content along the lines of politics, relationships, finance, basic needs of man. But you never hear them creating content along the lines of climate change. How much do you think that should change going forward?
Yeah, it should change. It should change. And that's why I started by saying that an average presenter does not know enough.
No, apart from the presenter now, we're talking about the manager, because the manager is
Even
also...
the manager does not know. Even the manager does not know. Now, climate change is an evolving area. A lot of people don't know a lot. I mean, we just have to be honest with ourselves. I'm a general manager of a radio station. You ask me, how much do you know about climate change? Yes, I am conscious not to throw things away from my car. I'm conscious enough to dispose my refuse properly. But then how much else do you know? How much more do you know? Okay, so if the leadership of a radio station does not know that much, it will reflect in their content development. So, but I think it is something also that presents a lot of opportunities. While we're talking here, I'm imagining writing proposals to some agencies and say, let's partner with you. You probably don't have to pay all you need to pay. Let's meet halfway, okay? We'll craft, I could even present to them a crafted sensitization message that, that talks about protecting our environment, and say powered by Nimet or powered by whatever. Okay, so, but on the average, believe me when I tell you, most people don't understand. Even those who mouth it don't understand the technicalities. Probably that's why when Nimet tells you there will be flooding, they don't tell you why. Or maybe they are not supposed to tell you why, but then I think that...
They're supposed to.
Okay, they are supposed to. Okay, because if they are supposed to and they are not doing that, that's concealing of information. How do the people get the message? They should be leading a campaign and a crusade to churches, to big organizations, and to radio stations. Partner with them and let the message cascade in the local languages. One good thing about radio is that it gets to where a lot of other means cannot get to.
True.
So now a woman in the village hears in her dialect, this is not proper. Look at what it does. And then let's protect our environment. She has gotten the message. And you can imagine the amount of information. So those who are playing big in the climate change effort must collaborate with radio stations, TV stations, and all the news channels and make it an issue. I don't think they've made it enough issue. Because if you don't make it look like it's an issue, you actually have to scream so that people will understand. Now, the man who pours refuse into that running water feels like he has gotten rid of his own refuse, but does not understand that it does not disappear. The refuse does not disappear.
It's danger.
Good. The same person who probably burns refuse does not understand that there are gas emissions getting into the atmosphere and causing problem. So when people understand, you can expect people to do better than they know. So is it not the responsibility of these climate change warriors to let us know what we're really doing? Don't assume we know.
What about our laws? Recently in Enugu State, we heard that if you are caught throwing anything from your vehicle, you are going to be tried in the mobile courts, and then if you are found guilty, you're going to be jailed. Do you think that can help in stopping people from abusing the environment?
It will help if you enforce it. But for now, I think they are joking.
Also,
Now,
but there's a law like that.
A law does not implement itself. So what mechanisms are in place to enforce it? Yesterday, I still saw people throwing things out of their car. So if you make a law, that's a good step. That's the legal framework to ensure that people do the right thing, because people on their own will not do the right thing. During the Idiabo days, who born you? I mean, you can't try it. The soldiers will get you arrested, give you some physical workouts. By the time you're done, they will not even flog you. By the time you do press up, the message will just sink. So if Enugu State is serious about this new law, while you were doing the law, did you get input from the people? Because there's always the need for a buy-in. Okay, people join in the making of the law. They own the law. Good. The next thing is publicizing it. There are people who will not attend the public sessions. And so look at the new law. You must sensitize the people. But my friend, one of my friends said that what we have is what you call a predatory enforcement system. So they don't even want you to know that there is such a law.
So when you do it,
so that they will get money from you. And also, you also see that even when people are, let's say you want to enforce the law, you see that the money doesn't go into the coffers of government. Absolutely. And I don't know why government is not bothered about that, because if you book people, what I should expect is there is a flouting of that law. The next bus stop, there is somebody who stops you and says, who threw that thing out? And you're booked there and then.
True.
If you can't pay immediately, you will be arrested. I mean, people need a little bit of high-handedness to get them to, because their brains will not naturally do the right thing. Then also, you could also enforce that every bus driver has where people can dispose refuse inside of it. I've had to tell people it's safer to drop the refuse in your car and just to throw it out.
Yeah.
You're not an animal. You're a human being. Okay,
Absolutely.
so we don't have lack of laws. The problem is not enough laws. The problem is always enforcement.
Absolutely. Uche Gabriel, manager, Solid FM Radio, Enugu State. Many thanks for being part of this discourse.
Thank you. My pleasure.
It's an amazing discussions that we have today with Uche. Do you have a climate change program on your station?
Yes, we did.
You did, or you still do, or is this...
We did. It was sponsored.
So if it wasn't sponsored, you would do anyone at all?
I'm thinking of a sensitization message.
Okay.
You know, just for free. We just put it out there.
Okay. All right, then. Thank you again for coming.
Thank you.
Signature TV. News in your pocket.